Hi, I'm Pop Sigung. Welcome to my channel where I teach my personal martial art of Bagua Kuntao Silat. Today, I'm going to show you about the first Qigong exercise that I show you, or energy skill exercise I show you, a fundamental exercise that helps you express striking power. And it starts with some people call Palm Jing, and what that means is an expanding, pushing power, but it's more focused into a striking Jing. And we do that by maintaining a stance. Some call this stake training, post training, stance training, other things. And as you've seen in my foundational exercise before, where we simply stayed like this, ran our breath, learned to relax and acquire root, we're going to learn to bring that root and power and energy into the palm we're striking the opponent with. And we're going to do that by staying very, very still for a very, very long time. And that's going to teach our mind to relax, our mind to expand, and perception and awareness to increase exponentially, and our breathing to become efficient, and our body to work efficiently, ironically enough, by not moving at all. You're going to do this by maintaining that striking palm posture. Just like this. You're going to sink, knees bent, pelvis tilted up a little bit, spine in a neutral position. Shoulders are going to be drooped, elbows down, palm out, and you've seen this in many of my videos already. And you're going to maintain this position for a very, very long time. The hand is going to be just below the shoulder, around armpit level, heart level. This hand, palm, is going to be open and just below that in front of the center line, and this palm is going to come to the center line as well. And you're going to look in between this what they call dragon mouth and out, and simply relax. You're going to breathe in the same manner, tongue against the roof of your mouth, teeth gently connecting, pressed together. Drawing in all the way down into the dantian, lower abdomen, down front of the body, out, up the back, with each breath, as I told before in previous videos, then up, out of the nose, that small circulation. Also, you're going to imagine that energy coming in with the breath and that root connecting deeper and deeper, and that breath going all the way down to the root once you've established that circulation, and the breath goes deeper and deeper into the ground. Full. The abdomen expands, but the breath goes down, and your awareness and it seems that your physical body, your presence expands as you're doing that, but you remain more and more still as time passes with every breath. Each breath should get slightly longer, slower, and deeper as you draw further and further into the ground. The breath comes back up the legs, up the back, then out of the nose. But I want that energy you feel also as the oxygen or breath leaves the nose, that energy is going to leave your palm. You're going to take that energy and you're going to see it as exiting your palm. You breathe in from everywhere, into your nose, down into the ground, your root, as far as you can bring it. And then when it expands your belly, exhale, and all that energy comes up through the legs, up the back, and with that breath, exits. But that energy, the breath leaves the nose, and that energy exits the palm with every breath. Stand here for at least 15 minutes in the beginning. Then when you get easier, remember, do both sides. Toes slightly in, knees bent, relaxed position. Now, as you notice in other styles, I don't maintain this very erect position. It is a relaxed, hanging loose position. So it looks like my body structure is collapsing. It is not. It is held up by the skeleton. It's found that way by learning how your body moves, what's most efficient, and where the weight is going to hang on your body. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. And what you'll see is, if you've ever used this in real sparring or fighting applications, that certain types of structures lends itself to hitting and movement better for you than others. Whenever I see someone maintain a very erect, formal position, I know they haven't sparred a whole lot when they do it all the time. They certainly don't end up moving that way when they're getting struck. If they do, they generally get knocked out or they're constantly backpedaling. Usually when you see that crouch position and they're relaxed, like a runner getting ready to explode, that's how to know they're used to hitting very hard, even if they don't understand internal. They've done it so much that they understand what it means to uncoil as they're expressing that energy. Also, you're learning to take that root and expand it outward, and you can only do that by that energy escaping out from your skeleton. This is going to help you learn how to maintain continuous structure and alignment, proper alignment and energy movement without using your muscles. Your muscles are going to get tired. They're going to ache. You continue to maintain this structure, this striking palm structure, until the muscles are no longer engaging in balancing you or keeping you upright. What's keeping you upright is proper alignment and skeletal structure. You're simply still. You want your mind to also be still. You start out by following that breath down as far as you can and out. That's all I want you to consider until eventually it's not a thought at all. It's simply a way of being. And you become aware of everything around you, and that's all you do. No thinking. At first, it's going to be very difficult. The more you do it, the more it will happen to you until eventually it's a continuous state. At first, you'll only do it for seconds at a time or brief flashes. That's okay. In fact, that's good. That means you're making progress. And now you want to be able to do it continuously, as if it happens in a fight. Often it slows down to where it crawls and you get tunnel vision. This way, this will help you function in that and help you see everything and not gain that tunnel vision. So you're simply staying here relaxed and you're learning how to bring that energy you're developing to the fore. Soon I'll show you an exercise on how to do that by striking paper. And it's newspaper, so it'll flutter in any air you're pushing in front of you. If you're not moving efficiently and quickly, the paper will flutter away. You'll strike it, but it won't tear properly. When you do it properly, it rips just in the shape of your hand or where contact was made initially. So again, breathe in. Ideally, you want to do this about 30 minutes on each side. I don't want to stand here in front of you doing that, but I'm going to tell you how to go. Initially, you're going to breathe about 6 breaths per minute. I want you to get that down to about 2 breaths per minute. Breathing in deeply, filling yourself up, allowing that energy you're bringing in root to go down as far as you can, your awareness can extend. And each time you do it, every day you practice, that awareness will expand deeper and deeper. Your root will become greater and greater. And then you bring it up, allow it to move up and out of your body. If you've done the drills properly with striking palm, perfection drills, then you know when you step, it's and I just want to not do it too quickly, but quickly enough to show you what this drill will do. Will show you, and I'll show you now explosively as I'm getting ready to explain it again, but that was simply to show you what it would look like. But to do it explosively, what you're going to do is bring that root and whole body power into your striking palm. So if you see someone that approaches you, swings a punch at you, it's just, you don't have to worry about it. He struck very hard. much harder than most people imagine that can happen. If you need to do it repeatedly, and you continue as you step. This is going to allow you to move entire body all at once. This is Striking Jing. What it's going to show you you're developing by staying still, learning how to move efficiently, learning how to decrease the awareness of your body, move internally more, muscular, less. And when you do move your muscles, you're not impeded by your mind nor your body. It's 100% efficient movement. Tests for doing this properly are maintaining your stance and pushing against the wall. And instead of pushing yourself back, you push yourself deeper in the ground, like I showed in my basic striking palm. You maintain your stance, push against a sturdy wall, and you push yourself deeper in the ground as you're striking outward. That breath and energy moving out, that you're moving in there slowly, you feel yourself being shoved deeper in the ground. That's when you're doing it properly. Also, your partner can press against you. You're like this, and I'll show you with a partner, and your partner's using both hands, pushing slowly and inexorably against you with all his might, and you're relaxed, standing, breathing, maintaining root, and moving that root out. And all he can do is just move you around. And you're standing there, simply just moving the energy he's given you back into that root as you draw in and pushing out. If you want to see how it goes, simply just move slightly with your whole body, and he should bump back. His entire body will move back. That's 2 tests. And the last test, of course, striking newspaper with an open hand, a palm, and tearing a hole in it. That's the final test. And when you do that, you want to stand in Wu Wei and just, that's with your entire body. So the 3 tests to test against your striking palm Jing. So striking Jing. And when you breathe out, practicing against the wall, your normal stance, you get close to it and push, and you can feel it. You can practice by maintain that position, and as you push more, you feel your feet being shoved down, not out. You don't push yourself back. That's when your weight is too high. You have no root, or your root is only a couple of inches into the ground. You want that root deep. So when you're pushing, you feel yourself sinking even more and more, and it's your entire body. So lightly, you can feel it. Stick, and you continue to push against it, and you feel yourself being shoved deeper into the ground. That's 1 test. Test this with a partner. Initially, maintain your position, just like we normally do. One of the ways to test this, you're going to be able to project a large amount of internal force outward, is can you accept it in? You want to be able to test that root. Because otherwise, if you're just throwing a punch with this stance, it's all external, as any external art would. What you want to make sure is you're hitting with complete physical and mental efficiency, and all of the energy is being focused into one movement, your target. So with that idea, initially you test it by maintaining your meditative position, where you'd be just like this, elbow down, arm about 95% extended, this one guarding your body as we did before, and he's going to just walk forward and push against me. And I want to make sure that when he's doing that, I maintain a rooted posture and I'm sunk. And when I feel it, I'm relaxed and sunk even more with just enough muscle mass, muscle tension to maintain my position, and nothing more as he tries to move against me. So he comes, I sink more, and he moves more, I sink even more, and you can feel it. Feels like I'm projecting harder, but I'm not. I'm simply more rooted as he approaches, and he's pushing harder and harder, and I'm simply staying as relaxed as I can as he moves against me. And if you want to see me how I do this, I'm going to project outward, and all I did was just a little bit of movement, moving that energy outward. And you do that both sides. test with a partner. If you move at all as he's moving forward, any part of you, you need to relax some more. Your alignment's off, your root is off, your structure is off. So he's just barely leaning on me, and he leans more and more. And I'm testing until eventually he's trying to step towards me, and I'm simply relaxed and sunk. And now he's pushing hard as he can, nothing. You do it with the chest because you don't want to hurt him, and you don't want your arm to collapse by just simply running, because if you do it, he's just going to get all of that energy and power and going to hurt himself. Or if you're not doing it properly, it's going to hurt you. So, but that said, he pushes harder and harder. Eventually, he tries to push you over, and he can't. And I'm relaxed. You can see I'm just sunk, and he's trying to push all he can, and I'm here. So, I want to just pop him off. I just release a little bit. And you see, no real movement other than just I stay sunk and just move that energy out, and he just pops out a little bit. Once you get that down, he's going to try to push with his hands. So his hand is on my left hand, both hands, yeah, and he's pushing against me. Now I'm going to have to readjust because I'm just outside, but it's as if I was going to hit him and he's going to interfere, and I'm sunk. He's pushing against, and I'm taking that energy and running it into the ground, into my root. And you can see here, I'm relaxed more and more. And the more I relax, the harder he feels me. His experiences, I'm pushing against him, but I'm not. He's simply pushing harder. And you can see, you go here and I'm pushing out. I'm trying to avoid hitting him. But he's pushing some more. And this is the test. And what you want to do is not be tense. It's difficult. He's pushing. But I want all that power and tension to flow in, and I stay relaxed. Relaxed, no tension of anything. You have this up here if you want, but I'm trying to show you, and that's it. And you can see if you do the release, he's pushing, and I release all at once.
I feel where it's going.
Right. You see where it's going. But with this movement, the idea is you want to be able to strike with that full power, full root, full body, all of your energy going one direction, one thing. So if he's coming in, he punches, it's that. And you can see, no tension. I just step forward and touch him. And that touching, he's torque twirled and he had to step back. It's like you just run into a fence post. And I'm being as gentle as I possibly can. This is just for demonstration purpose. Till eventually, you hold up your hand. Till eventually when you do it, it's a hit, hard. And you can see like it just looks like a pimp slap per se. But it's actually all of my root and body moving forward to make you hit with real power and real speed. You're not hesitating in your mind. The entire time you're clearing your mind so you can perceive what's occurring at all times and be aware of everything without interference, without mental or physical obstacle entering or exiting your body. And all of your energy can flow within you and any direction you want, anytime you want. This is a test to make sure that you're moving energy properly to your hand when you're maintaining that striking palm posture. When you actually strike with your palm and you're using internal movement as opposed to external movement, primarily internal movement. Again, you have to move externally or you won't be moving at all. However, you can see here what I have is a very thin piece of newspaper. It's about 1/4 of a newspaper. It's the paper on one side, and it's hanging down. And it's done this way so it will catch any wind. And you can see here I have to hold it or it will flutter away. I have it on a piece of masking tape hanging down from a beam in my carport. And the tape intersects about head high. I'm going to strike it at about shoulder height or just below or above, but about shoulder height. When I extend, about heart level. And if I don't do this properly, when I approach it, you can see it's simply going to fly away. Or it'll envelop around my hand and no damage. It'll be pushed away because I won't be moving properly. If you've practiced your energy movement the correct way, and I don't mean flicking the fingers out, that's not what we're doing. What I want you to do is make contact with your entire palm and fingers, the palm heart, striking forward in a way that you've been practicing in your perfect striking palm drills, your palm and footwork drills, and finally, the real secret, your Qigong drills, as I've shown earlier. And what you wish to do, and it's a pretty calm day today, but you can see any puff of air is going to catch this paper and blow it. So any air where you are pushing instead of striking, it's going to push the paper away from you and you won't be able to tear it. You're simply going to be striking it. Sure, you might get, after over and over hitting this piece of paper, you may create a little hole in it or a small little tear or a wrinkle that turns into a hole. But what I want you to do is strike it. And you see here, I have the seam away from me where it'll bend instead of toward me, and it's easier to tear. I'm making this as difficult as possible for me to tear this unless I'm doing it the proper way. And the reason I use a thin paper again is because I want it to catch the wind if I don't do it properly. After a while, you will not easily, after a while, you will strike this and just tear it with your hand as you're moving through the paper. But you have to be loose. You have to practice your energetic skill training or Qigong properly. You have to be moving your Qi through your body, and all of your energy has to be focused and into your hand as you're making that strike today. But I'll show. And I'll show you here. As it's done there, you can see my fingers and paper where I struck, and you can see here where I struck with my fingers and hand, it simply tore out the paper right along the edges as I went through. Try it again. If I have the remainder of the paper, what I'm doing is I'm going to strike higher so you're not constantly going back and forth. And what you want to do is make sure, see, a little breeze will make this thing go just like you. If you don't move properly, it will push this paper back. As I'm going to get ready to show you when I don't do it properly, it will push the paper back and the paper won't tear. When you move properly, striking through the paper with your entire palm open will tear it in such a manner, not just a little rip or a little hole, but your hand will simply snap through the paper, all of your energy and focus through the paper. It looks easy. It is not. You sit here a long time and you'll know when you do it properly and rip through, your hand rips through it, or simply that you're striking it in a way that creates wrinkles and a little hole that tears because it's just over and over. But when you do it right, it just snaps through and tears completely. I'm going to do it higher, so it'll be a little more difficult perhaps with the wind blowing. You will also have to make sure you intersect properly your entire palm with the paper perpendicular. If you hit it at an angle, of course, your energy won't be as efficient as if you hit it squarely and perpendicular to the paper. And I'll show you here, up high. And again, wherever my hand struck, it simply went through the paper. Now you can see I'm going through. Now what I want you to do, get a new sheet of paper. They're a little higher here. Get another sheet of paper. Now here is these advertising flyers from local grocery stores that you can use, which are printed on old type newspaper. That's what I'm using. You can't find newspapers anymore because nobody reads them. But you don't want an entire sheet. This is about the appropriate size. If it's too large, it'll be easier to tear, and you'll see it because you'll hit it, and the entire weight of the air that you're moving will help it stand still, and your hand will go through it. This size is about the appropriate size because it makes it the most difficult for your palm to snap through this paper. Move it around, make it a little difficult for me. See here, done. Now once you get that down, what you're going to want to do is perfect the snap. See, it's catching the air. If you don't do this properly, it's going to look like this. And you'll make contact, and what happened was I didn't move quickly enough, too much tension holding me back. My hand didn't intersect the paper properly, and it's simply the air cushion was still present in front of my hand and pushed the paper away, which caused it to wrap around my hand. With more internal energy and less external energy, it looks like this. Again, your entire hand. As soon as the wind dies down and the leaves are barely moving, but this thing catches the air so efficiently, which is why it's a great way to practice. It looks like this. And that's it. I know it may look like I'm shoving my fingers through here, but I'm not. They're loose. I'm shoving my hand through it, and the paper conforms to the interior of my hand as it goes through and snaps it out. And you can see here, it's the shape of my hand as it goes through. Not just finger poke holes that go through here. It's not that. It's my entire hand, as you can see here, almost the exact shape. It's the entire hand striking through this paper. That's what you gain by proper energy skills, proper movement, proper alignment, and structure. You're simply moving much more efficiently and strike with very, very hard, deceptive power. Doesn't look like you should. Doesn't look like you are. But when you're on the receiving end of those strikes, you certainly are. I'm Pop Sigung. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll show you more videos in the future. This is the real secret training to internal movement.